After 3 years, the highly anticipated season 4 of Stranger Things finally dropped on Netflix. My name is Bryce, and this is Thumbs Up, Thumbs Down, and let's get talking. Before I give you my thoughts about this season of Stranger Things, please let me know down in the comments below what you thought. Was it great? Was it good? Was it just mediocre? Or was it plain bad? I would love to know your thoughts, and please make sure you keep it respectful down there. Everyone has their own opinion, and that's what makes these discussions so fun. Knowing everyone's different perspectives of the way they look at things and smashing them together to have a nice, lively conversation about the art that we love. Now, without further ado, let's get started. So right off the rip, without me delaying anyone's expectations or anything like that, I gotta say, this is easily, I think, the best season of Stranger Things. I wouldn't say easily. I'll take that back because Stranger Things Season 3 was really good. I thought the last 2 episodes of that season was incredible and absolutely like masterwork of television. But Stranger Things Season 4, even though it has its flaws that I'll get to in a minute, it just felt so refreshing to be back in Hawkins. And even though this season doesn't take place primarily in Hawkins, it's just a great time to be with these characters again. And speaking of the characters, there are a ton of characters in this show, in this season, but they found a way to kind of break them off in their own storylines, and they give them, for the most part, kind of equal screen time and development of the plots. I'll get to one of those plots in particular that I think was the weakest in a second, but overall, I just thought the way this season developed its characters, developed a storyline, and all of the different arcs that the characters are on that are eventually going to kind of rise and meet, I think is going to be extremely satisfying with what they set up with these first 7 episodes. One minor criticism is I don't really understand why they split it up, because to my knowledge, Season 4 Part 2 is just 2 episodes, but with episode 9 of the season being 2.5 hours long, which that's going to be crazy. I don't know why they split it up in 2 parts. I feel like even though Part 1 ended on a really good note and it wants me to come back, so I guess that's good marketing. But even if they released all of it at once, I would immediately start watching episode 8. Again, that's not anything against the plot or the storytelling or anything like that. I just find it kind of weird that they split it up in 2 parts. I don't think that needed to happen. Going back to the actual arcs themselves, there are 4 or 3 separate arcs of characters that they kind of split each other up. It's not a spoiler. It's in the trailer. And Season 3 ends the end credit scene with Hopper in Russia. So it follows Joyce and Murray in Russia. Mike, Will, and Jonathan are in California, while the rest of the characters are in Hawkins, and Eleven is in her own mission trying to regain her power she lost in Season 3. And saying that out loud, it sounds like it's a lot of mess, and there's no possible way they can balance all of these storytellings or all these arcs equally to keep it a compelling story. But I think they really hit the nail on the head, especially with the Russian arc. I thought it was incredible storytelling with the character of Hopper. He's up in Russia. He's atoning for things. We're getting development of his story with his daughter and everything that he's lost, and he seems like he's a broken person, and that's really interesting. And Winona Ryder as Joyce obviously is just a powerhouse of an actress, so when she's doing her thing, it's just a lot of fun to watch her. And the actor who plays Murray, I don't remember his name, unfortunately, he's just a ton of charismatic fun as well. So the Russian arc is really good, but of course the Hawkins arc is kind of the bread and butter of Stranger Things. And that is definitely where the show excels. I said earlier about the arc that I don't like very much. That's going to be the California arc with Mike and Jonathan and Will. However, it does give me the greatest scene in the entire season on a purely technical filmography, cinematography side. That scene is just impeccable. I won't say it for spoiler reasons, but it's just, I want you to know that they have the best scene. It's just, it's so good. Another thing I want to mention is that you can definitely tell that these actors are having a blast playing these characters again. And I think that is extremely important, especially having a 3-year gap in between seasons because of COVID reasons and reshoots and stuff like that. But you can just tell that they are so excited to be back in these roles. And the banter, specifically between Dustin and Steve, is just on a whole other level, and they are incredible. Like, they were a great duo before, but this season, Joe Keery and Gaten Matarazzo really just crank it up to 11, and they're just such a likable duo to be on screen together. I think Joe Keery has the best performance of his life in this season. He's extremely likable. Like, he's just really good in this role. And it's crazy to me that Steve Harrington was supposed to die in season 1. However, based on Joe Keery's talent alone, they kept him alive and started writing more character for him. And I just think that is it's so great to have Steve Harrington still with us. I also think season 4 has the most, I won't say compelling villain, but Vecna is the villain of this season. He is absolutely incredible. He's terrifying. That's another thing. This show really dives into the horror elements, especially with Vecna targeting his victims, and I think the horror elements are really, really, really solid. And the Upside Down is extremely kind of fleshed out in this. We spend a little time in the Upside Down, and it's just really it hits home how terrifying the Upside Down is, and I really appreciate that. Going back to Vecna, I don't remember the actor's name, but he has to go through. He went through makeup at 3 a.m. in the morning for a 10 a.m. shoot and shot for 10 hours. It took him 7 hours to get into that makeup. That Vecna is 90% prosthetic and real. And I think the visual effect artists and the makeup artists outdid themselves with the creation of Vecna. He looks absolutely spectacular. One of the best design of a horror villain I've ever seen, in my opinion. I think he is extremely, really cool to look at. And learning who Vecna is a big plot twist, and it's very exciting. And I appreciate the Duffer Brothers for really diving in and kind of twisting our world around after we get this information. And we're following characters, and then it's just like a twist around, and that's just a lot of fun to be had. So as you can tell, I'm a really big fan of this season. Little bit of flaws is the CGI can be a little bit wonky at times when Vecna is killing his victims, but that's like a minor criticism because everything else looks so good. I think the Upside Down looks absolutely spectacular. And then the acting, like I said earlier, is just on a whole other level. Like, these actors really came to play. But a flaw would be even though I feel like the different arcs really pay off and keep your attention and stuff, I do feel like the California arc really doesn't hold a candle as much to the other arcs, while in itself still being interesting. So I don't know if that's really good or bad. I think it's like a mixed kind of bag. Another kind of flaw is, I will be honest, the first 2 episodes are purely setup, and if you're not really into the characters or to like the whole aesthetic of the 90s or the 80s, I don't remember, the characters, you're not really going to be hooked. But keep going into episode 3. Episode 3 is really when it kind of turns its head and is like, oh, this is what's happening. So yeah, that's going to do it for me for my Stranger Things Season 4 Part 1 review. Make sure you remember to let me know down in the comments below what you thought. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe button. Really help the channel out. And thank you very much for watching. You have a wonderful rest of your day.